Good morning. My name is George Chahal. I'm the Member of Parliament for Calgary Skyview, and I'm your MC for today's exciting announcement. It is my pleasure to be here today with my colleague, Minister LeBlanc, Minister Panda, Mayor Gondek, and President and CEO Bell of Glenbow, Nicholas Bell, for this exciting infrastructure announcement. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 7 land, and that we respect the history, languages, traditions, and cultures of the nations on whose traditional land we are standing. The Nitsapi from the Blackfoot Confederacy, which includes the Siksika, Piikani, and the Kainai First Nations, the Aire Nakota of the Shaniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley Nations, and the Dene of the Tsuut'ina First Nation, as well as the Métis Nation Region 3. Infrastructure is the backbone of Canadian communities, big and small. And investments in infrastructure are crucial to building strong communities, making life more affordable for Canadians, and growing our economy. This is our government has been making unprecedented investments that support communities across Canada. And I'm proud to be here today for this important announcement that will bring our community together, celebrate our diverse history, and support our efforts to build a resilient and vibrant economy. To share more, please allow me to introduce my colleague, the Honorable Dominic LeBlanc, Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs, Infrastructure, and Communities.
So, good morning, everyone. Bonjour, tout le monde. George, thank you for that kind introduction. I was saying to the mayor earlier, George and I have been friends for many years. I've known the Chahal family. His brother Raj and I worked in Mr. Chrétien's office, imagine 30 years ago, together. So it's a privilege to be here with my friend and now my colleague, George Chahal. He has a very long and distinguished record of community service, and I can tell you he is a wonderful advocate for your city in our government and in Ottawa. So it's a privilege to be here with him today, but it's also a privilege, as George said, to be here with our provincial minister, Minister Panda, Mayor Gondek, with whom I had an opportunity to discuss issues important to your city a few moments ago, and of course Mr. Bell, the President and CEO of this important facility, not only for the great city of Calgary, but for the country. As George said, our government continues to work closely with partners across the country, and obviously right here in Alberta, to make investments that are important to improve the lives of Canadians. And I want to say with Minister Panda here how much we value the partnership with the government of Alberta on infrastructure investments. I had a chance to have dinner with your Premier last evening. He was leaving Alberta for some business, and that's why he wasn't able to join us this morning. But on the infrastructure file, the government of Alberta and the municipalities of Alberta have been very effective partners. The work that we do together on a series of infrastructure investments has been very collegial and very effective, and I hope it's for the benefit of the people of Calgary and the people of Alberta, and I think we have many more good things to do together. So, Minister Panda, thank you. Thank you for your cooperation, but thank you for the cooperation of your government. It truly is a valuable partnership. We may not agree on every single issue, but we certainly agree that working together with municipalities to improve infrastructure for the great people of Alberta is something we can do together, and it's been very effective to date. So it's a privilege to be here with you this morning as well. Notre objectif, comme mon collègue George Chahal a dit, notre objectif est de donner la priorité aux Canadiens, de faire des investissements ciblés et responsables qui soutiennent les communautés et la croissance économique. Our investments in communities throughout Alberta, we believe, are helping to grow local economies, build stronger and more resilient communities, and protect the environment and the health of Albertans and Canadians for years to come. With investments in over 180 projects in the province of Alberta from the onset of the pandemic, so just over the last 2 years, our government, I hope, has demonstrated our commitment to work together with partners, as I said, municipal leaders, the province, to keep people safe, but while also creating jobs and supporting local businesses. Just here in the city of Calgary, we've invested over $35 million in the last 2 years, including $14 million dedicated to infrastructure projects under what we've called the COVID resilience stream. These are projects that help public buildings and other infrastructure become safer and more resilient in the context of a pandemic. But today, I'm very, very excited to be here at Glenbow to announce a federal investment of $40 million towards the revitalization of the Glenbow Museum. This $40 million federal contribution will help with investments from other partners, from the city, from obviously the Glenbow Foundation itself, and from the province of Alberta. This will transform this landmark into one of the most vibrant museums in North America. The Glenbow Reimagined will allow Calgarians, obviously, but the millions of people from Canada and around the world who visit your city to enjoy a more eco-friendly museum that will be better equipped to show Alberta's extraordinarily rich diversity and cultural history. Funding for this project will help replace outdated systems with energy-efficient ones, renovate all 8 floors to create more spaces for galleries and exhibitions, and provide improved access to 250,000 works of art and historical objects in the Glenbow collection. Once completed, the revitalized Glenbow Museum will be more accessible to Canadians, but will also uphold its long legacy of bringing people, ideas, history, and perspectives together. Facilities like the Glenbow Museum are critical community anchors across the country. In big cities and in small towns, these are the economic and cultural anchors that drive the local economy, but create a sense of pride in communities as well. They contribute to the local economy, create hundreds of jobs. They encourage tourism by attracting international and domestic visitors, as I said, from around the world and across Canada. I said to your mayor a few moments ago, if you come from Atlantic Canada, if you're a maritimer like me, Calgary is a pretty important city in your imagination because we all have family members and friends who've come to live and work in Alberta and in Calgary and in Western Canada. And the economic and cultural vibrancy of your city has benefited the whole country. And places like the ones I represent in New Brunswick are very attached to your success and to your growth. And that's why, as somebody from New Brunswick, to come to Calgary this morning with the mayor, the provincial minister, and my colleague, George Chahal, to celebrate this important investment is very, very important. Et finalement, les espèces communautaires, récréatives et culturelles sont au cœur de nos communautés. C'est pourquoi nous continuons à soutenir la construction et l'amélioration de plus de 660 infrastructures de ce type à travers le pays. When we invest collectively in infrastructure, in cultural, recreation, community infrastructure, like the important project today, we are connecting communities and improving the quality of life, not only for the residents of Calgary, but as I said, for people from around the world and across Canada who will come to see this. We will keep working with our partners, the mayor, the provincial government, other partners, private, not-for-profit organizations, across your province will continue to work with you to make investments that will benefit generations to come. We hope this will make life more affordable, more interesting, and more inclusive for people in Calgary, but across your province. So it's a privilege for me to be here to celebrate this phenomenal success in Calgary. And as a Canadian, it makes me very proud that we can work with the city, with the government, with the museum to support something as important as this reimagination of this iconic facility. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister LeBlanc, for highlighting those important priorities and for coming today for today's announcement. I would like to now introduce Minister Panda.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, George, for that brief introduction. Minister LeBlanc, Mayor Gondek, and everyone here today for joining us, thank you. Hello, everyone. On behalf of Premier Jason Kenney and my Government of Alberta colleagues, I'm honored to join Minister LeBlanc, Mayor Gondek, President and CEO of Glenbow, Nicholas Bell, members of the Museum Board, and all of you gathered here for this exciting announcement. I'm actually thrilled to receive Minister LeBlanc in Alberta. Been waiting to have this meeting for so long, and I look forward to discuss the needs of Albertans with Minister LeBlanc. I agree with you. We we certainly don't agree on many issues. But I'm looking forward to have that discussion with you on how we can work together on issues that benefit Albertans and Canadians. There is so much in common to work together, and I look forward to have that discussion with you, sir. Congratulations, because today, all of your effort and perseverance into planning this project has paid off. With $105 million funding secured through the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, Glenbow can move forward with its work to reimagine this much-loved cultural institution. Alberta has a unique culture that needs to be remembered and celebrated. And that's why I'm so pleased that the three levels of government are coming together to support this museum that tells Alberta's and Albertans' story. Generations of Calgarians, Albertans, and visitors from around Canada and the world will be able to enjoy the new and renewed gallery and exhibition spaces and take advantage of the expanded educational and programming opportunities. As Minister of Infrastructure, I'm also keenly aware of this project as a job creator. In fact, joint funding invested into this project by the Glenbow Alberta Institute, the City of Calgary, the Alberta government, and the federal government will support about 590 jobs in planning, engineering, and construction and related trades. It will also support jobs that ripple out from the construction worksite to benefit Calgary and Alberta manufacturers, suppliers, and trucking companies. Long after the construction is complete, the funding invested into the Glenbow Museum will ensure ongoing community-based jobs in programming, operations, and maintenance. By coming together to fund this incredible project, we are building communities, boosting economies, supporting jobs, and ultimately helping move Alberta and Albertans like all of you here today forward. I just also want to let you know, your government of Alberta is investing $21 billion in our capital plan for the next 3 years. And that $21 billion will fund a lot of schools, 66 schools to be precise, and 24 healthcare facilities, and so many other vital infrastructure projects like Calgary Ring Road and many other projects in Calgary itself. So all of Albertans will benefit from that investment. So please let us celebrate the amazing news today. I look forward to the grand opening, the Glenbow Museum Reimagined. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Panda. We appreciate your thoughtful remarks. I would now like to introduce Mayor Jyoti Gondek.
It's great to be here at the Glenbow with all of you today, and on behalf of my council colleagues, welcome and thank you for the invitation. As politician number 4, I am going to talk a little bit differently today. I'd like to talk about the impact of investments by our business community and by individual Calgarians into this place and this space. I can tell you that Glenbow Alberta Institute has contributed $14 million to this project, and that means that a group of volunteers hustled hard to make sure that Calgary businesses as well as individuals understood the value of an initiative like this. So I'd really like to thank the board and staff at the Glenbow for the amount of work you put into this and for your fearless commitment to getting this done. In addition, the J.R. Shaw Free Admission Endowment of $25 million was created by the Shaw family as a legacy to J.R. Shaw. In his name, that gift will offer everyone the opportunity to be part of a world-class arts and culture museum for free, at no charge. This levels the playing field for anyone seeking access to rich and diverse cultural experiences, whether it's kids, their parents, their grandparents. This access breaks down any barriers that may exist for those in positions of poverty. It also offers newcomers and those who are typically denied this kind of an opportunity to feed their mind and their soul. We become the first city in Canada to offer free admission forever. This project also amplifies the city's efforts to revitalize our downtown and our thriving arts and culture scene. After 2 years of unpredictability, we are keenly aware that the arts and culture sector and those experiences kept us going while we were going through the pandemic. And as we emerge into recovery mode, I invite you to come downtown and take in all the experiences we have to offer, and in the future, that will include a brand new Glenbow. Congratulations to everyone involved in this amazing work. It was a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you, Mayor Gondek, for raising such excellent points. And now we'll be turning to the President and CEO of Glenbow, Nicholas Bell.
Thank you, MP Chahal, for your kind words. Mr. LeBlanc, Minister Panda, Mayor Gondek, thank you for the generous words regarding the significance of this project to Calgary, to Alberta, and to Canada. On behalf of Glenbow, our hard-working team, and the tireless governors, volunteers, and members of our community who continue to invest their time and resources into the future of Glenbow, we are grateful for your support. Ministers, your commitment to Glenbow from the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program sends a signal, not only that arts and culture matter to all Canadians, but also that cultural infrastructure will play an integral role in the rethinking and redevelopment of Canada's cities for the 21st century. It is no coincidence that museums, galleries, concert halls, and theaters sit at the very heart of this country's communities. We situate these gathering places on our main streets because we recognize the fundamental value in providing inspiration, connection, and solace, and that help us to grow understanding between peoples and perspectives in an increasingly complex world. Like Glenbow, many of these buildings came to define Canada's architectural identity in the cultural infrastructure boom a half-century ago. Now, these community landmarks are failing at the same rate. This is both a challenge and an opportunity for Canadian infrastructure. Sometimes the temptation is strong to tear down these aging temples of culture. Our values today are not what they were 50 years ago. Designs and ideas, which once seemed progressive, simply don't serve our richly diverse populations or our contemporary aspirations to greater accessibility. Here at Glenbow, we are fiercely proud that we are not tearing this building down. Is it a challenge to reimagine this space? Absolutely, but it also holds extraordinary inherent value, and to raze it to the ground would have been inexcusably wasteful. By working with the infrastructure we already have, Glenbow will keep 38,000 tons of concrete out of the landfill. By renovating this building rather than destroying it, we will prevent 56,000 tons of new carbon production over its usable life. And we are able to accomplish this landmark cultural project for Albertans at a fraction of the cost of new construction. This is not only an accomplishment for Calgary. As similar buildings across Canada confront these same challenges, we hope they will look to Glenbow's example to understand the environmental, fiscal, and social benefits of working to renew the investments of generations of Canadians who came before us. And who is building this example? I am proud to share the work funded by the governments of Canada and Alberta is not only producing these savings, it is also creating 600 jobs for this province's leading firms in design, construction, engineering, fabrication, and trades. Every team participating in the work funded by this commitment is Alberta-based. When we walk the job site at Glenbow, the women and men doing the hard work are our neighbors. They are this community, and they stop me on a regular basis to share how much it means to them to work on a project they will be able to visit with their families that will serve as a linchpin in the revitalization of downtown Calgary, and which will present Canada with a new standard of transforming the aging assets of our past into an innovative and efficient infrastructure for our common future. This will be the green legacy of Glenbow's building, newly renamed the J.R. Shaw Centre for Arts and Culture. Minister LeBlanc, Minister Panda, Mayor Gondek, thank you for embarking on this extraordinary journey with us to reimagine Glenbow.
Thank you, Nicholas. That concludes today's announcement. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for this exciting announcement. I'll now turn it over to Hayden to moderate media questions, and after that, we'll take a group photo. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chahal. If media in the room want to line up at the mic there to ask their questions, we'll try to get one question, one follow-up. I guess, should we go to the phones first? Operator, can you please put through the first caller? Oh, no callers. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No callers, that's great. First for Minister LeBlanc. Can you talk a bit about the timing of this announcement? Because obviously work at the Glenbow project has been underway already. Just wondering about why it took to this point. I don't know if it was your schedule, et cetera, but maybe you can help about the timing.
Sure. So we had, in my discussions with the provincial government last fall, we had agreed to the contribution of $40 million. As Nicholas said, the work has been underway. I'm told there'll be a big crane probably next month that'll be visible outside. The outside part of the building will start hopefully in the next month. This was the first time I've been to Calgary since I've been the infrastructure minister. It's a signature project. It would be irresponsible to not begin the work once the funding commitments are made. We want Nicholas and his team, as he, I thought, identified in a terrific way in terms of the local Alberta context of the workforce and the planning. So we wanted this work to be able to begin. And this was an opportunity for me, frankly, to participate in something, as I said, that is an important moment for the city of Calgary and for the province of Alberta. But we see this as a national example of governments, the private sector, generous private donors, municipal organizations, city leadership coming together to do something that will inspire generations. So I just wanted to highlight that today, and we hadn't had a ceremony to confirm publicly the $40 million federal contribution, which is matched, as you know, by a contribution from the province of Alberta. and the city, and as Nicholas said, there's significant private investment as well to make the project possible.
Thanks, Minister. I just have a follow-up question for Mr. Bell. And that is, so $40 million, that's another significant contribution. There have been various contributions. Do you have enough now, or are you still in the hunt?
Thank you so much for asking that. I am delighted to share that when we formally announced our campaign last year, we set a goal of $135 million, recognizing that $120 million was the capital cost of renovating this building, and that we additionally wanted to raise $15 million for a program above that. As many of you are already aware, the community response to this project has been overwhelming. And in fact, we announced in February the $35 million commitment from the Shaw family, which creates two endowments, creating the J.R. Shaw Institute for Canadian Art and the J.R. Shaw Free Admission Endowment, which Mayor Gondek just mentioned. Those are extraordinary numbers. They technically put us over that original goal, but we know that there is so much more that we can accomplish here in terms of building the future program to serve all Calgarians, Albertans, Canadians, and visitors to this great city. And so upon serious reflection with a number of our community supporters, we have increased our official campaign goal to $175 million, recognizing that there remains extraordinary potential to grow this project in a way that benefits this community. And I'm delighted to share that as of today, we've raised $152 million.
Thank you.
Sorry, I should have just mentioned if media can give their name and their outlet, that would be fantastic. Go ahead.
For the mayor, please. Tom Ross with City News. Hi.
Hi.
Unrelated question, but still about the arts, I guess, in a way. The film shoot for Last of Us this morning caused some traffic issues as they ran a bit late. From your role as the mayor, what do you say to the Calgarians who maybe were a bit frustrated by the delays they experienced today?
I can completely understand that Calgarians were frustrated on their commute, having to encounter some detours and unexpected traffic, but the film sector is an important part of our economy. This production in particular is really significant for our city, so I want to thank you for being patient. I appreciate that it was difficult, but I also know that Calgarians will understand how important this particular production is.
And are there any backup plans just in case this sort of thing happens again? I know it's been rare during this shoot, fortunately, but if there's transit delays and stuff like that, are there some backup plans in place just in case that worst case scenario happens?
It's an excellent question. We have to make sure that as we are evolving as a city and as we are transitioning our economy, we're understanding what the impacts are to Calgarians. So we will absolutely be having a look at how we can mitigate impacts on people's commutes, while at the same time we are strengthening our economy. So, yep, we will be looking out for Calgarians as we look out for the economy as well. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon. This is DP Tillo from Red FM. My question is for Minister Panda. Minister, would you please let us know the Investing in Canada infrastructure program and how much money Alberta has left in terms of the funding from this program?
Thank you. So ICIP, Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, is a cost-share program between the federal government and municipalities and not-for-profits, indigenous communities. Alberta was allocated about $3.65 billion, around that, in that order of magnitude, from feds, and most of that is locked in for the two LRT projects, one in Calgary, one in Edmonton, and the balance of it, fortunately or unfortunately, is already allocated, consumed, exhausted. I'm actually looking forward to discuss with Minister LeBlanc about other opportunities.
Thank you.
Sure, go ahead.
I have a question for Mayor Gondek. Sorry, it's Scott Dipple from CBC. On another big infrastructure announcement today, that would be the Springbank Off-Stream Reservoir project. I know that's been long, a very important project for the city of Calgary. So just with the fact that the construction's getting underway, just while you're here on camera, your thoughts about that finally getting going?
It is wonderful news that we are getting going on that flood mitigation project. I can tell you that I had a meeting with Minister McIver yesterday, who is equally excited that we are moving forward on this project. We all know that there is incredible devastation that can happen within our city if we don't address flood mitigation properly. So a project of that nature and that size is welcome news. It is also very good for our economy. Thank you.
Do you have a follow-up, Scott? No? Okay, I think that wraps it up for today. We'll get a picture with everyone right away. Thank you.